The emergency alarm screamed through the medical station like a wounded animal. Zareth's 4 crystalline arms moved with practiced precision as she prepared the trauma bay. Her blue skin sparkled under the harsh medical lights as data streams flowed across her visual display. In her 8 rotations working aboard the healing light, she had seen injuries from dozens of species. But something felt different about this call. "Incoming human vessel," announced the station's artificial intelligence. "Severe combat injuries reported. Unknown pathogen exposure possible." Zareth paused. Humans were new to this sector of space. The Velthari medical database contained only basic information about their species. She had never treated one personally. Her colleagues whispered that humans were primitive warriors from a backwater planet called Earth. Some said they were unnaturally aggressive. Others claimed they healed too slowly to be worth saving. The docking bay doors hissed open, and 4 figures rushed through the airlock. 3 of them carried the 4th on a makeshift stretcher. Zareth's medical scanner immediately began taking readings, and what she saw made her blood run cold. The injured human was a male, approximately 30 Earth years old according to his identification beacon. His name was Jake Murphy, and he was dying. The scanner showed massive internal inflammation, a body temperature of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and white blood cell counts that were impossible for any living being to survive. "Put him on the biobed," Zareth ordered, her voice steady despite her shock. The 3 other humans obeyed quickly. The female with short brown hair stayed closest to the patient. Her identification read Amy Foster, Lieutenant. The male with grease-stained hands was Pete Collins, engineer. The woman with the medical supplies was Lisa Grant, labeled as ship's medic. Zareth began her examination while the biobed's sensors fed data to her neural interface. Every reading made the situation worse. Jake's immune system was in complete chaos. His body temperature would have cooked the brain of any civilized species. The inflammation markers showed levels that should have killed him hours ago. "How long has he been like this?" Zareth asked Lisa Grant. "About 6 hours since the pirate attack," Lisa replied. "He took shrapnel to the chest and abdomen. I did what I could, but..." "6 hours?" Zareth's voice cracked with disbelief. "Impossible. No being survives inflammation levels this severe for 6 hours." Amy Foster stepped closer to the biobed. "Jake, can you hear me?" The injured human opened his eyes and actually smiled. "Hey, there, Amy. Did we make it to the med station?" Zareth nearly dropped her medical scanner. A patient with systemic inflammation this severe should be unconscious. Yet Jake Murphy was not only awake, but coherent enough to joke with his crew. Her medical training told her this was impossible. "Don't worry about talking," Zareth said quickly. "Save your strength. I'm going to start emergency cooling procedures and anti-inflammatory treatments immediately." "Wait," Lisa Grant said, stepping forward. "You don't understand human physiology. Jake doesn't need cooling. His fever is breaking the way it should." Zareth stared at the human medic with barely concealed irritation. Lisa Grant had no formal medical training according to her records. She was simply a crew member with basic first aid knowledge. How dare she question a trained Velthari medical professional? "Look at these readings," Zareth said, gesturing to her display screens. "Your captain has inflammation markers over 300% above normal levels. His white blood cell count indicates massive infection. His body temperature is high enough to cause permanent brain damage in most species. He needs immediate intervention or he will die." "He's not dying," Amy Foster said firmly. "Jake's always been tough. He'll pull through this." Zareth looked at Amy with the patience she reserved for grieving family members in denial. She had seen this before with other species. Loved ones who could not accept that their injured were beyond saving. It was sad, but common. The biobed chimed with new readings. Jake's temperature had dropped to 103.5 degrees. Still dangerously high, but moving in the right direction. However, his white blood cell activity remained extremely elevated. Zareth prepared a powerful immunosuppressive drug. "This will calm down his immune system," she explained to the crew. "It's designed for severe autoimmune responses." Lisa Grant grabbed Zareth's lower arm. "No, please, you'll make him worse. Humans need their immune response to fight infection. You can't suppress it. I am a trained medical professional, Zarath said coldly, pulling her arm free. Your captain's immune system is killing him. Without intervention, he has perhaps 1 hour to live. She activated the injection system, but Pete Collins suddenly moved between her and the biobed. Ma'am, I don't know much about medicine, but Lisa knows Jake better than anyone. Maybe we should listen to her. Zarath felt her patience finally snap. These primitive humans were going to watch their captain die because they could not accept medical reality. She activated the station's security system and restraint fields appeared around Lisa Grant and Pete Collins. I will not let you interfere with medical treatment, Zarath said. Amy Foster, as the next ranking officer, I need your permission to proceed with emergency life support procedures. Amy looked between Zarath and her restrained crew members. Jake's hand weakly reached for hers. Amy, he whispered. Trust Lisa. She knows what she's doing. I can't let him die, Amy said quietly, but I also can't ignore what he's telling me. She looked directly at Zarath. What if you're wrong? What if human biology works differently than you think? Zarath's crystalline skin flickered with frustration. I have treated 17 different species. Biology follows certain universal laws. High fever kills. Extreme inflammation kills. Uncontrolled immune responses kill. Your captain displays all 3 conditions simultaneously. Dr. Kethvar entered the trauma bay at that moment. The old Threnodi's tentacle-like arms moved in greeting patterns as he reviewed Jake's medical data. His ancient eyes, wise from centuries of medical practice, studied the readings with growing concern. Nurse Zarath, he said slowly. I have never seen vital signs like these in a living patient. Are you certain your instruments are calibrated? Correctly. I have run 3 separate diagnostic cycles, Zarath replied. The readings are accurate. This human should not be alive, yet he continues to improve slowly. It defies everything we know about medicine. Dr. Kethvar's tentacles curled in thought. Perhaps, he said carefully, we should observe this patient more closely before attempting intervention. There may be aspects of human biology that our databases have not yet recorded. Zarath looked at Jake Murphy, who was now sitting up slightly and talking quietly with Amy Foster. His color was better. His breathing had improved. By every law of medicine she knew he should be dead or dying. Instead, he was healing. For the first time in her medical career, Zarath began to wonder if everything she thought she knew about biology might be wrong. 3 hours had passed since Jake Murphy arrived at the medical station, and Zarath was losing her mind. Every medical principle she had learned in her decades of training told her that the human should be dead. Instead, he was sitting up in bed, eating something called chicken soup that Amy Foster had retrieved from their ship's food supplies. I don't understand, Zarath muttered to herself as she stared at the biobed readings. Jake's temperature had dropped to 101.8 degrees
Fahrenheit,
still high enough to cause brain damage in most species. Yet he was having a normal conversation with Pete Collins about engine repairs. Lisa Grant approached the biobed with a small medical device. Zarath had reluctantly released the restraint fields after Dr. Kethvar insisted they observe human medical practices. The ship's medic was taking Jake's blood pressure using a primitive inflatable cuff instead of the station's advanced sensors. How are you feeling, Captain? Lisa asked. Much better, Jake replied. The headache is almost gone and I'm not as hot as before. Think I'll be ready to get back to work soon. Zarath's forearms gestured in disbelief. Ready to work? Your white blood cell count is still 300% above normal levels for any known species. Your internal inflammation markers indicate massive tissue damage throughout your abdominal cavity. Jake shrugged. I felt worse. Remember that time on Kepler 442b when I got that stomach bug? This isn't nearly as bad as that was. Amy Foster laughed. You threw up for 3 days straight on that mission. Pete and I thought you were going to die. But I didn't, Jake said with a grin. Just like I'm not going to die from this. Lisa patched me up good and my body's doing the rest. Zarath looked at Lisa Grant with growing frustration. The human medic had cleaned Jake's wounds, applied basic bandages, and given him something called antibiotics. According to Zareth's medical knowledge, such primitive treatment should have been completely inadequate for injuries this severe. "Explain to me," Zareth said to Lisa, "how you expect basic wound cleaning and crude antibiotics to treat massive internal trauma and systemic infection." Lisa set down her medical bag and faced Zareth directly. "Because that's how human bodies work. We don't need fancy machines and drugs to heal from everything. Our immune systems are designed to handle serious injuries and infections. The fever isn't killing Jake, it's helping him fight off any infection from the shrapnel wounds. Fever kills," Zareth stated firmly. "Every medical text in the galaxy agrees on this basic fact." "Not for humans," Lisa replied. "Our bodies can handle temperatures up to about 108 degrees Fahrenheit before we're in real danger. Below that, fever is actually helpful. It makes our immune cells work faster and makes it harder for bacteria and viruses to survive in our bodies." Dr. Kethvar's tentacles curled with interest. "Are you saying that humans deliberately raise their body temperature as a healing mechanism?" "Exactly," Lisa said. "And the inflammation Zareth is worried about? That's our white blood cells rushing to the injury sites to clean up damaged tissue and fight infection. It looks scary on your scanners, but it's actually our bodies fixing themselves." Zareth pulled up Jake's latest blood work on her display screen. "These inflammation markers would indicate cellular breakdown in any civilized species. How can you claim this represents healing?" Pete Collins wiped his hands on a rag and joined the conversation. "Ma'am, I'm just an engineer, but I know that sometimes you have to tear something apart before you can rebuild it better. Maybe human bodies work the same way." "That's actually a good comparison," Lisa said. "When Jake got injured, his immune system immediately started tearing down damaged tissue and bringing in resources to build new, healthy tissue. It's messy and looks dangerous, but it works." Zareth studied the readings again. Jake's white blood cell count was indeed decreasing, but slowly. His temperature continued to drop gradually. The inflammation markers were beginning to stabilize rather than spiral out of control. It was as if his body had everything under perfect control, despite appearing chaotic. "Show me your medical database entry for human physiology," Dr. Kethvar requested. Zareth activated her neural interface and projected the human medical file for everyone to see. The information was sparse and clearly incomplete. Normal body temperature, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Normal white blood cell count, much lower than Jake's current levels. Expected healing time for major injuries, several weeks. "This database is wrong," Amy Foster said immediately, "or at least incomplete. Humans can have body temperatures anywhere from 97 to 99 degrees and still be perfectly healthy. When we're fighting infections, temperatures up to 104 degrees are normal and helpful." Lisa nodded. "And white blood cell counts can increase by 500% or more during serious infections or injuries. It's not dangerous, it's necessary. Our bodies are designed to mount aggressive responses to threats." Dr. Kethvar's ancient eyes studied Jake carefully. "Young human, may I ask about your planet's environment? What conditions did your species evolve under?" Jake thought for a moment. "Earth is pretty tough, I guess. Lots of different climates, from freezing cold to burning hot. Dangerous animals, diseases, natural disasters. Humans have always had to adapt to survive just about anything the planet could throw at us." "Interesting," Dr. Kethvar murmured. "Most spacefaring species evolved on worlds with stable, predictable environments. We developed medicine by creating artificial balance when our natural balance was disrupted. Perhaps humans developed by learning to create balance through controlled chaos." Zareth felt a strange sensation in her crystalline chest, something like excitement mixed with fear. "Are you suggesting that human biology operates on completely different principles from every other known species?" "It's possible," Dr. Kethvar replied. "Consider this. We achieve health through maintaining precise biological conditions. Perhaps humans achieve health through biological adaptation and aggressive response to threats." Amy Foster checked her communication device. "We just received a priority message from the Galactic Medical Council. There's been another pirate attack in this sector. A Velthari civilian transport is requesting emergency assistance. They say the pirates use some kind of biological weapon. Jake immediately tried to sit up straighter. We need to help them. You need to rest, Zareth said automatically. You're still recovering from major trauma. Actually, Lisa Grant said, checking Jake's latest readings, his vital signs are almost back to normal human ranges. In another few hours, he'll be fully operational. Zareth stared at the biobed display in amazement. Jake's temperature was now 100.2 degrees Fahrenheit. His white blood cell count, while still elevated by alien standards, was clearly trending downward. The inflammation marker showed signs of resolution rather than escalation. This is impossible, she whispered. Complete recovery from injuries this severe should take weeks, not hours. Not for humans, Jake said with a smile. We're pretty tough. Dr. Kethavar's tentacles moved in what Zareth recognized as deep thought patterns. I believe we are about to learn something very important about human biology. And if there are Velthari civilians under attack by biological weapons, we may need that knowledge sooner than we think. Zareth looked at Jake Murphy, the patient who should have died hours ago but was instead planning to help rescue aliens he had never met. For the first time, she began to understand that humans might be far more remarkable than anyone in the galaxy realized. Jake Murphy was walking around the medical bay when the second emergency call came in. Zareth watched in amazement as the human who should have been bedridden for weeks moved with only slight stiffness from his injuries. His temperature had dropped to 99.1 degrees Fahrenheit, still fevered by alien standards, but Jake claimed he felt almost normal. The Velthari transport Peaceful Journey is requesting immediate medical assistance, announced the station's AI. Biological weapon deployment confirmed. Casualties mounting. Dr. Kethavar entered the medical bay with unusual haste. His tentacles moved in agitated patterns as he reviewed the incoming data. This is very serious. The pirates have used a weapon specifically designed to attack Velthari's cellular structure. It disrupts our natural biological balance. Zareth felt her crystalline skin grow cold. Velthari physiology was precise and delicate. Any disruption to their cellular harmony could be fatal within hours. How many passengers? 47 civilians, Dr. Kethavar replied. Medical scans show progressive cellular breakdown in all exposed individuals. We need to prepare isolation units and aggressive treatment protocols immediately. Jake stepped forward. Can we help? You should be resting, Zareth said automatically, though she noticed Jake's movement was much more fluid than it had been hours earlier. I'm fine, Jake insisted. Besides, we fought the same pirates 6 hours ago. Maybe we can provide useful information about their weapons. Pete Collins nodded enthusiastically. The New Horizon is operational again. I managed to patch the hull breaches and get the engines running. We could escort the transport ship here. Amy Foster was already checking her sidearm. If these pirates are still in the area, they might try to finish what they started. Lisa Grant approached with her medical scanner and began taking readings from Jake. Captain, your white blood cell count is still elevated, but it's dropping steadily. Your temperature is almost normal. How do you feel? Good enough to fly, Jake said. Maybe a little tired, but nothing I can't handle. Zareth stared at Lisa's readings in disbelief. Jake's cellular activity showed clear signs of ongoing healing, but no indication of the systemic failure she had expected. His immune system was still working aggressively, but in a controlled, purposeful way rather than the chaotic destruction she had feared. I don't understand human biology at all, she admitted. Dr. Kethavar's tentacles curled thoughtfully. Perhaps that is because we are approaching it with the wrong assumptions. Lisa Grant, may I ask you to explain something? Sure, Lisa replied. When Jake was first brought here, his immune response appeared to be attacking his own body. We interpreted this as a dangerous autoimmune reaction, but you claimed it was normal healing. How is this possible? Lisa set down her scanner and thought carefully before answering. Human immune systems evolved to handle serious threats quickly and aggressively. When Jake got injured, his body immediately sent white blood cells to clean up the damage. Those cells break down damaged tissue, kill any bacteria that might cause infection, and clear the way for new healthy tissue to grow. But the inflammation levels were extreme, Zareth protested. Exactly, Lisa said. Humans don't heal by maintaining perfect balance like most species. We heal by creating controlled chaos that looks dangerous but actually works very efficiently. Think of it like controlled demolition. You have to tear down the damaged parts before you can rebuild. Amy Foster received a communication from the Peaceful Journey. They're transmitting their medical data now. The biological weapon seems to be designed specifically for Velthari physiology. Dr. Kethvar reviewed the incoming data, and his tentacles went rigid with alarm. This is worse than I thought. The weapon attacks the cellular mechanisms that maintain our biological harmony. As our cells try to restore balance, they become more vulnerable to the weapon's effects. Zareth understood immediately. Velthari, healing depended on precise cellular coordination. Their immune systems worked by maintaining perfect biological equilibrium. A weapon that disrupted that balance would cause their own healing mechanisms to work against them. What about humans? Jake asked. Would this weapon affect us the same way? Lisa Grant studied the biological weapon data with growing interest. I don't think so. Human immune systems are designed to handle chaos and disruption. Our cells don't depend on maintaining perfect balance. They're built to adapt and overcome threats through aggressive response. Are you saying humans might be naturally resistant to this weapon? Dr. Kethvar asked. It's possible, Lisa replied. Our immune systems might actually be able to fight off this bioweapon the same way Jake's body fought off the infection from his shrapnel wounds. Jake was already heading toward the docking bay. Then we need to get to that transport ship immediately. If human biology can resist this weapon, we might be the only ones who can help those passengers. Wait, Zareth called out. You were critically injured just hours ago. You can't possibly be ready for another dangerous mission. Jake paused and looked back at her with a patient smile. Zareth, I appreciate your concern, but humans are tougher than you think. My body has already dealt with the worst of my injuries. The rest will heal while I'm working. Amy Foster was gathering equipment from their ship. Jake's right. I've seen him work through injuries that would sideline most people. It's just how we're built. Pete Collins emerged from the New Horizons docking port. Engines are ready to go. I also loaded some of our medical supplies, including extra antibiotics and human-compatible pain medication. Dr. Kethvar moved toward the communication console. I will coordinate with the Peaceful Journey and prepare our medical facilities for massive casualties. But I must ask, are you certain about human resistance to this bioweapon? Lisa Grant checked her readings from Jake one more time. Look at his blood work. His immune system is still hyperactive from fighting his initial injuries. If anything, he's better prepared to fight off a bioweapon now than he was this morning. Zareth studied Jake's latest medical data. His white blood cell count remained elevated, but the cells showed signs of increased activity and efficiency. His body temperature was holding steady at a level that would enhance immune function. Most remarkably, his cellular repair mechanisms were working at rates she had never seen before. Your immune system is still in combat mode, she observed. Exactly, Jake said. And that might be exactly what we need right now. Amy Foster activated the New Horizons communication system. Peaceful Journey. This is Lieutenant Amy Foster of the Earth vessel New Horizon. We're launching a rescue mission. Can you transmit your exact coordinates? As the human crew prepared for departure, Zareth found herself wondering if she was witnessing something unprecedented. Every instinct told her that Jake Murphy should be in intensive care, not preparing to rescue alien civilians from a biological weapon attack. Yet all the evidence suggested that human biology was not only recovering from severe trauma, but actually becoming stronger in response to threat. Dr. Kethvar, she said quietly, I think we are about to learn something very important about why humans might be the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they are aggressive, but because they are nearly impossible to kill. The old Threnodi's tentacles moved in agreement as they watched the New Horizon launch into space, carrying 4 humans toward a danger that had already proven fatal to dozens of aliens. For the first time in her medical career, Zareth found herself believing that the impossible might actually be possible. The peaceful journey was a nightmare of biological warfare when the New Horizon docked with it 2 hours later. Through the medical station's communication link, Zareth watched as Jake Murphy and his crew entered the Velthari transport vessel, wearing basic environmental suits. Visual scan shows 47 Velthari civilians in various stages of cellular breakdown, Amy Foster reported over the communication channel. The biological weapon appears to be airborne and still active. In the ship's atmosphere, Dr. Kethavar's tentacles trembled as he received direct medical readings from the transport. The weapon is attacking their cellular repair mechanisms. As their bodies attempt to heal, they become more vulnerable to the bioweapon's effects. It is a perfect weapon against our species. Zareth monitored Jake's vital signs remotely through his environmental suit's medical sensors. What she saw amazed her. Instead of showing signs of exposure to the bioweapon, Jake's immune system readings were becoming even more active. His white blood cell count was increasing again, but in a purposeful, organized way. "Jake," Lisa Grant's voice came over the communication channel. "How are you feeling?" "Fine," Jake replied as he carried an unconscious Velthari passenger toward the docking port. "Maybe a little energized, actually. It's like my body knows there's something to fight." Pete Collins was working on the transport's life support systems. "I'm detecting traces of the bioweapon in the air recycling system. Whatever this stuff is, it's designed to keep circulating through the ship's atmosphere." Amy Foster coordinated the evacuation while scanning for any remaining pirate vessels. "We need to move fast. If the pirates come back, we'll be sitting targets." As the first Velthari passengers were brought aboard the medical station, Zareth began treating them immediately. The bioweapon had disrupted their cellular harmony so completely that their own immune systems were destroying healthy tissue. Every attempt their bodies made to heal only made the damage worse. "This is horrible," she whispered to Dr. Kethavar. "Their healing mechanisms have been turned against them." "Indeed," the old Threnody replied. "The weapon exploits our greatest strength, our precise biological balance, and makes it our greatest weakness." On the transport ship, Jake was carrying passengers who should have been too heavy for someone recovering from major injuries. Yet his movements showed no sign of fatigue or strain. If anything, he seemed to be getting stronger as the rescue continued. "Lisa," Zareth called over the communication channel. "I need you to take a blood sample from Jake immediately." "Why?" Lisa asked, though she was already preparing her portable medical kit. "His immune response is unlike anything I have ever seen. If humans are naturally resistant to this bio-weegun, his blood might contain the key to saving these Velthari passengers." Lisa took a quick blood sample from Jake's arm through his environmental suit's medical port. Sample collected. "Jake, how do you feel after being exposed to the bioweapon environment for over an hour?" "Honestly, I feel great," Jake replied, lifting another Velthari passenger. "Better than I have all day. It's like my body is running on high-efficiency mode." Pete Collins finished his work on the life support systems. "I've isolated the bioweapon from the air recycling system, but there are still traces throughout the ship. Whatever this stuff is, the human crew seems completely unaffected by it." Amy Foster completed the evacuation count. "All passengers are secure. We're ready to return to the medical station." During the journey back, Zareth analyzed Jake's blood sample with growing excitement. His immune cells showed not only complete resistance to the bioweapon, but active adaptation to its presence. His white blood cells had developed specific responses to neutralize the weapon's effects. "Dr. Kethavar," she called urgently, "Jake's immune system has done something incredible. It has not only resisted the bioweapon, but created specific antibodies to fight it." The old Threnody examined the blood analysis with amazement. In less than 2 hours of exposure, his immune system identified the threat, developed countermeasures, and began producing antibodies. "This is impossible by any known biological standards." "Not for humans, apparently," Zareth replied. When the New Horizon docked with the medical station, Jake emerged from his environmental suit looking healthier than he had when he left. His temperature was a perfect 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. His white blood cell count showed optimal activity levels. His cellular repair mechanisms were working at peak efficiency. "I don't believe it," Zareth said, staring at Jake's medical readings. "You have not only recovered completely from your injuries, but your immune system has developed complete resistance to a bioweapon designed to kill through immune system disruption." Jake shrugged. "I told you humans are tough. My body just did what it's designed to do, adapt and overcome." Lisa Grant was reviewing the blood analysis. "Jake's antibodies are incredibly effective against the bioweapon. If we can synthesize them, we might be able to save the Velthari passengers." Dr. Kethvar's tentacles moved in patterns of deep respect. "You are saying that Jake Murphy's blood contains the cure for a weapon specifically designed to exploit our species' biological weaknesses?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Lisa replied. "Human immune systems don't just resist threats, they learn from them and develop ways to fight them. Jake's body turned the bioweapon exposure into an opportunity to create a cure." Zareth began preparing transfusion equipment immediately. "We need to process Jake's antibodies and create treatments for all the Velthari passengers." "How much blood will you need?" Jake asked. "More than you can safely give," Zareth admitted. "The antibody concentration required for 47 patients would require several liters of your blood." Amy Foster stepped forward. "What about the rest of us? Pete, Lisa, and I were all exposed to the bioweapon environment. Did our immune systems develop the same antibodies?" Lisa quickly took blood samples from the other crew members. The analysis showed similar results. All 4 humans had developed effective antibodies against the bioweapon, though Jake's were the most concentrated due to his already hyperactive immune system. "This is remarkable," Dr. Kethvar observed. 4 humans exposed to a lethal bioweapon for barely 2 hours have independently developed identical countermeasures. Your species does not just heal from injury, you evolve resistance to new threats in real time. Pete Collins scratched his head. "Is that unusual?" Zareth laughed, a sound like crystal chimes in the wind. "Unusual? Pete Collins, what your species considers normal healing would be considered miraculous by every other known civilization in the galaxy." As they began processing the human antibodies into treatments for the Velthari passengers, Jake sat in the same biobed where he had been dying just hours earlier. Now he was donating blood to save an entire ship of aliens he had never met before. "Jake," Zareth said as she monitored the transfusion process, "I owe you an apology. When you first arrived, I thought your biology was primitive and chaotic. I tried to suppress your immune system because I believed it was killing you." Jake smiled. "You were trying to help. You couldn't have known that humans heal differently." "But that is exactly the problem," Dr. Kethvar interjected. "We assumed that all biology follows the same principles. We never considered that a species might achieve health through controlled chaos rather than careful balance." Amy Foster checked her communication device. "The pirate ship has been captured by Galactic Security. They found the bioweapon production facility on board." "Good," Jake said. "Now let's make sure those Velthari passengers make a full recovery." As the first Velthari patient began showing signs of improvement after receiving Jake's processed antibodies, Zareth realized that everything she thought she knew about medicine was about to change. The humans had not only survived what should have been fatal injuries and exposures, they had turned those challenges into opportunities to help others. "Dr. Kethvar," she said quietly, "I think we need to completely rewrite our understanding of what it means to be alive." 3 days after the rescue mission, the medical bay of the Healing Light had been transformed into something Zareth had never seen before. 47 Velthari passengers were making remarkable recoveries thanks to treatments derived from human antibodies. More importantly, the medical staff was learning to see biology in completely new ways. Jake Murphy sat in the same biobed where Zareth had once thought he was dying. Now he was volunteering for comprehensive medical testing, helping the alien medical community understand human physiology. His injuries from the pirate attack had healed so completely that only faint scars remained. "Your cellular regeneration rate is extraordinary," Dr. Kethvar observed as he reviewed the latest test results. "Tissue that should require weeks to heal has regenerated in days." "That's pretty normal for humans," Lisa Grant explained. She had been working closely with the alien medical staff, sharing human medical knowledge. Our bodies are designed to heal quickly from injuries. We evolved on a dangerous planet where fast recovery could mean the difference between life and death. Zareth was documenting everything she had learned about human biology. Her report would be transmitted to medical facilities across the galaxy, fundamentally changing how aliens understood health and healing. "I have been thinking about your species for days," she said to Jake. "When you first arrived, your body, temperature, inflammation levels, and immune response all indicated certain death by our medical standards, yet you were healing perfectly." Jake smiled. "I tried to tell you I felt fine. But that is exactly what I find most remarkable," Zareth continued. "You were not just healing, you were conscious, coherent, and even optimistic while your body was fighting a battle that would kill most species. How is this possible?" Amy Foster laughed. "You should see Jake when he actually gets sick. He once had food poisoning and still insisted on finishing a repair mission. Pete and I had to physically restrain him from working." "Hey," Jake protested. "The navigation array needed fixing. A little stomach bug wasn't going to stop me." Dr. Kethvar's tentacles moved in fascination. "This suggests that humans maintain mental function even when their bodies are under severe biological stress. Most species lose consciousness when their immune systems activate strongly. Humans evolved to keep thinking and fighting even when injured or sick," Lisa explained. "Our ancestors couldn't afford to be helpless every time they got hurt. They needed to stay alert to avoid predators, find shelter, or keep hunting for food." Pete Collins, who had been quietly tinkering with a medical scanner, looked up from his work. "I've been thinking about something. You said our biology looks chaotic compared to other species, right?" "Extremely chaotic," Zareth confirmed. "Well, in engineering, sometimes the most robust systems are the ones that look messy but can adapt to anything. Maybe human biology works the same way." Zareth considered this analogy. "You mean that what appears to be biological chaos is actually a form of adaptive engineering?" "Exactly," Pete said. "Your medical systems are built for precision and efficiency. They work great under normal conditions. But human biology is built for survival under any conditions, even if it looks messy." Dr. Kethvar was reviewing the treatment results from the Velthari passengers. "Speaking of adaptation, the antibodies derived from human blood have been completely effective. Every passenger exposed to the bioweapon has made a full recovery." "That's wonderful," Amy Foster said. "But what happens if the pirates develop a different bioweapon?" Lisa Grant checked her medical readings from the human crew. "That's the beauty of human immune systems. We don't just develop resistance to specific threats, we develop broader adaptive capabilities. Jake's immune system learned to fight that particular bioweapon, but it also became better at fighting unknown biological threats in general." Zareth stared at Lisa in amazement. "Are you saying that exposure to the bioweapon actually made Jake's immune system stronger?" "In a way, yes," Lisa replied. "Human immune systems have something called adaptive immunity. Every threat we encounter makes us better at handling future threats. We don't just recover from diseases and injuries, we become more resilient." Jake stood up from the biobed and stretched. "I hate to interrupt the medical discussion, but we should probably get back to our mission. The New Horizon is needed for patrol duties in this sector." "Actually," Dr. Kethvar said, "the Galactic Medical Council has requested that you remain here for additional testing. Your species' biology could revolutionize medicine throughout the galaxy." Amy Foster shook her head. "With respect, Doctor, we're explorers and defenders, not test subjects. We came here to help, and we did. Now we need to get back to protecting civilian ships from pirates." Zareth felt a strange sensation, something like sadness mixed with admiration. "I understand. But before you leave, I want you to know that you have changed everything I thought I knew about medicine." "How so?" Jake asked. Zareth gestured to her medical displays, which now showed human biological parameters alongside those of dozens of other species. "For centuries, we have practiced medicine by trying to maintain perfect biological balance. We believed that health meant stability, and that chaos meant death." She paused, organizing her thoughts. But humans achieve health through controlled chaos. Your immune systems fight threats aggressively rather than trying to maintain balance. Your bodies heal through processes that look destructive, but are actually constructive. Your minds stay clear and functional even when your bodies are under extreme stress. Dr. Kethavar's tentacles moved in agreement. We have learned that there is more than one way to be alive. The Velthari way, precision and balance, works well for us. But the human way, adaptation and resilience, may be even more effective for survival in a dangerous galaxy. Lisa Grant began packing her medical supplies. I hope this knowledge helps you treat other species better. Understanding that different biologies work in different ways could save a lot of lives. It already has, Zareth said softly. 3 more species have requested medical consultations based on our preliminary reports about human physiology. We are learning to treat patients as individuals, rather than trying to fit them all into the same medical models. As the human crew prepared to leave, Pete Collins handed Zareth a modified medical scanner. I made some adjustments to this device. It should be better at detecting human-type biology, aggressive healing processes, adaptive immunity, that sort of thing. Zareth accepted the scanner with all 4 hands. Thank you. This will help us recognize when patients are healing in ways we don't expect. Jake Murphy paused at the docking port entrance. Zareth, you saved my life by choosing to observe, rather than trying to fix what you thought was broken. That took real wisdom. You saved your own life, Zareth replied. Zareth, I just learned to get out of the way and let your biology do what it was designed to do. Amy Foster activated the New Horizons communication system. Medical Station Healing Light. This is the Earth vessel New Horizon requesting departure clearance. Clearance. Granted, Dr. Kethavar replied formally. And thank you. Your species has given us a great gift. As the New Horizon departed, Zareth began composing her final report. She wrote, Human biology represents a fundamentally different approach to life and health. Where most species achieve survival through careful balance and precise biological control, humans achieve survival through aggressive adaptation and controlled chaos. She paused, watching the human ship disappear among the stars. Then she continued writing. What initially appeared to be fatal biological dysfunction was actually sophisticated healing in progress. Human immune responses that seemed dangerously chaotic are actually precisely controlled adaptive mechanisms. Dr. Kethavar read over her report. You should add that human biology may represent the most resilient life form we have ever encountered. Zareth added the note, then included her final observation. Humans do not just survive threats. They become stronger from them. They do not just recover from injuries. They heal better than before. They do not just resist diseases. They develop immunity that protects them from future challenges. She saved the report and transmitted it to medical facilities across the galaxy. Within hours, responses began arriving from alien doctors who had encountered humans and misunderstood their biology. The report was being translated into hundreds of languages and distributed to medical schools throughout known space. Zareth, Dr. Kethavar said as they watched more Velthari passengers prepare for discharge. I believe we have witnessed something historic. We may have just learned why humans are destined to become one of the most important species in the galaxy. Zareth looked at her medical displays, now calibrated to recognize human-type healing processes in other species. Not because they are aggressive or warlike, but because they represent life's ultimate solution to survival, the ability to turn any challenge into an opportunity to become stronger. The medical bay was quiet now except for the gentle hum of healing equipment. But Zareth knew that everything had changed. The galaxy had just learned that there was more than one way to be alive, and humans had shown them the most resilient way of all,